So Samsung's One UI 5.0 software is here, as well as Google Android 13, and there's some new features that you might not realize that your Samsung Galaxy device can now do. So I've researched this in depth and selected the top 17 best new features, and I've ranked them in order of usefulness so that as we go through this video, the tips will become better and better. And I've made this video to make sure that you're getting the most from your Galaxy device, so stick around until the end to complete your training, and like Darth Vader once said, join me and together we can rule the Galaxy. So a good photo can be worth 10,000 words, and why let someone else take the credit for your photos? And thanks to this new One UI 5.0 edition, you can now stop that from happening. To access it, open your camera app, hit the cog at the top left corner and enable watermark. Now if you tap on this, you can actually customize what the watermark says. So right now it just says Galaxy S22 Ultra. If I hit the pen, I can change it to, I can also add the date and time. We can also customize the font between these three different ones. The Samsung font looks pretty cool. And we can also adjust the alignment of where the watermark appears. Okay, so I'm probably preaching to the choir here, but you know, Apple and Google and Samsung sometimes take inspiration from each other. And one thing that Apple has not yet borrowed from Android and Samsung is split screening and floating windows on mobile. But Samsung have been perfecting this, and there is a new way, a more efficient way to do split screening. So if we open backgrounding, what we can now do is hold our finger on any of the backgrounding tiles. If we drag it to the bottom, it brings it to the bottom half of the screen, drag it to the top, brings it to the top half of the screen. And if we leave it in the middle, it becomes a floating window. And just like before, if you hit the three dots in the middle, you can actually save the app pairing so that you can recall it later from the sidebar if you want to. So to do that, just hit the three dots and hit the star here to favorite it. And there we go. We can add that app pair wherever we want. So this is just a quick one, but it is of significant importance. It's the redesigned security and privacy menu. To go to it, all you need to do is go into your settings, security and privacy. Samsung have streamlined this so that you can now double check very easily and be warned if any of your security game is slipping. And the great thing about this feature is if any of your private data is compromised or you've forgotten to do the latest security updates for the device, your Galaxy is going to let you know. So take the time to run the scan and stick to the plan, and do not Leroy Jenkins this.
We do.
All right, thumbs up.
Ready, guys?
Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins!
Oh my god, he just ran in.
So this is a fun one, and it's in the form of a little upgrade to the Samsung keyboard. I do realize that some of you might prefer SwiftKey or Gboard, but for this tip, you'll need to be using Samsung's keyboard. And one way to check that you are doing that is to hit the little keyboard icon in the bottom left corner. Here you'll have all of the installed keyboards on your device. Make sure you've selected the Samsung keyboard, and then we can go back. Now pay attention to this part because it can be a little bit tricky. If you hit the emoji face up here and then hit the plus at the right hand side, this opens all of your emoji libraries as well as GIFs. And there's also a new feature here, which is this one up here, the little pink smiley face. This is a library of KO emojis or cow emojis. I'm not entirely sure how you say it correctly. They originate from Japan apparently. And if anybody knows the proper pronunciation for that, let me know in the comments. But what I want to show you here is this. See the two emoji faces together. If you tap that, now you have access to a bunch of animated emojis like this, but you can also create your own. So if you hit the create button, we can create pairs of emojis. For example, maybe this one, and the one behind, maybe this one. Now, if we hit animate, we can create a custom animation emoji to send to somebody. Okay, so I'm English, and unfortunately for me, apart from High Valyrian and Klingon, it's the only language that I understand. But for some of you, I'm sure you may know and understand more languages, and maybe you might even prefer some other languages when it comes to certain apps. And if that's you, you're gonna like this one. Go to settings, go to general management, and then go to app languages. And here you can select what apps you want to appear in what languages. For example, if we go to calculator, we can change it to English United Kingdom, or we can set it to something else completely different. No High Valyrian or Klingon though. So Samsung, if you're watching, you know what Captain Picard would say. Okay, this one isn't entirely new. It's more of a refinement of an existing helpful feature. So check this out. Capturing text from images is now easier than ever. So if you see the little T scan there, you can actually scan the image and extract text that way using the extract text section up here. Automatically, you can see we can capture all of that and even select parts of it to extract and copy. Now we can paste that anywhere on the phone. And if I take the picture normally and we go back into the photo in the gallery, you can see the little T there. That will do the same thing. It will allow us to extract text from photos more easily now. It's a noisy world and our minds can be easily distracted by constant notifications, and it's these notifications that will beat you to your knees if you let them. A word of advice that I have for you is to make the most of the new One UI notification display options. To access them, you need to go to settings, go to notifications, app notifications. Now you'll need to spend a little time going through this list of apps, but it will be time well spent, trust me. Now, as you go through these apps, decide which ones are important and which ones are not. For the ones that are not important, I do recommend you turn off the pop-up window. By deselecting this means every time you pull down the notification shades, you're not going to have thousands and thousands of notifications, only the important ones. But I do recommend you leave the badge icons on, unless it's a completely unnecessary app that you really don't need notifications from, in which case you want to use this feature here, silent. So similar to widgets on Android devices, the always on display has been around since the dawn of time, but now Samsung have added some new customization features, and some might say they look strangely similar to the new Apple iOS always on display, which has only just been launched. But anyway, check this out. To access them, go to your settings, go to lock screen, and here you can edit the lock screen by tapping this, and we can adjust things that we see here. So we can actually change the type of clock to whatever we want. We can change the color of the text, the type of text, and all this stuff. We can change the quick buttons that are available at the bottom of the screen here, and we can also add information. I can't do it on this one because I got my work profile on it, but you will be able to add your own details, phone number, stuff like that. In case you lose your phone, someone can still see that information and call you and let you know you lost your phone. But of course, they might be a bit of a in which case they probably won't. So apart from this stuff, what I really wanted to show you here is this. If you tap wallpapers at the top, there's a new dynamic lock screen wallpaper service available, and you can use images from your gallery as well, which will alternate, so you can select a bunch of different images and it will change every time you lock the phone. But the new service is here. So if you go to this wallpaper services, you can download these directly from Samsung, and they'll actually update and refresh every 2 weeks. So if you want to keep your wallpaper on your lock screen fresh and different every time, then definitely make the most of this. And what I really like about this feature is it maximizes the screen's potential when it comes to pixels. Everything is super high res compared to wallpapers you might download off the internet. And on that note, if you like my Batman Ninja wallpaper that I've kind of remastered for phone, drop me a comment and I'll send you a secret link to my private wallpaper stash. Anyway, on to the next one. So there are a bunch of camera improvements. One of them is the ability to now just slide like this for zoom quickly from 100 to 0.6. But the one I want to show you is within the Pro mode. So Pro mode has been improved and Samsung are giving you more help with learning how to use it. But one of the most valuable and most powerful tools that's been added here is the histogram. So up here is the histogram, and it's just a little square, but if we tap it, we can expand it. And if we tap it again, we can minimize it. Now, you might be wondering what this is, and for you pro photographers, you'll already know. I'm not here to give you a pro photography lesson, but I can break it down simply for you. So if the waves on the histogram all bunched up on the left-hand side, your exposure values are too dark and you're going to be losing information. Now, if they're all stacked up on the right-hand side, you're overexposed and you're going to be clipping a bunch of detail as well. So think of the histogram, this up here, as a container. And what you really want to do is contain the light within this without any of it being dropped off on the left or the right. If you do this successfully, you will be capturing the maximum amount of image data within your photo. So simply put, when using Pro mode, I do recommend you use the histogram up here to make sure none of the light within your field of view is falling off either of the edges, unless you want an overexposed or underexposed look. And also when you're in Pro mode, make sure you set it to raw image capture. Okay, so this is a fun one. If you go to a contact in your phone book Here you have a new ability to assign a 15-second video clip or wallpaper image or an AR emoji to specific contacts, so when they phone you, that will pop up. In my opinion, the video option is probably the most fun, and to set this up is really easy. So go to your contact, go to edit, here go to view more, scroll down to where it says cool background. Now it will talk you through how to set it up. So we can choose a regular background that's already preset, or we can hit the plus in the top right corner here and we can create one from the gallery, or we can create an AR emoji. So if I choose from gallery, I can go to a video that I just filmed. And set that as the wallpaper for that contact. And if I want to change it to something else, I just go back to edit, go to view more, scroll down, go to cool background without sound. And here we can choose something else like one of the preset ones, hit save, and now that's done. Whenever this contact calls me, that image is going to show up. Okay, this is another fun upgrade, but it can also be quite practical if you use it correctly. So check this out, hit the little pen at the bottom here. This is called the markup tool. If you hit the little smiley face at the bottom here, a selection of tools pop up. If we just use the regular pen tool, what we can now do is actually draw on the image. And we could do this before, but this is the new upgrade. If we draw the circle, but keep our finger held on the screen, you can see it uses AI to perfect the shape. So let me draw a square. Hold my finger down. Perfect square. So you can see how this could be useful in various ways. For example, let's say you're taking a picture of a book and there's some text you want to highlight, or maybe it's a car engine and there's a specific part you want to draw a circle around so people know what they're looking for when you're trying to explain what it is they should be doing with their car or anything like that. All you need to do, hit the markup tool, hit the smiley face, hit the pen, change the pen if you want, draw around a bit of text that you want to highlight, keep your finger held down, and there you go, you got your perfect shape on the photo. Okay, so this one's a little bit under the radar, but it's a powerful set of tools that Samsung have now simplified and improved. To access them, go to settings, scroll down to battery and device care, and you'll see this button here, Optimised Now. Tapping that will strip back all of the stuff going on in the background that could be slowing down the device automatically. But there's also this section here, the auto optimization. So when you enable this, your phone will reboot and refresh everything intelligently when the time is right. It will use its AI learning ability to select the right time when you're not using the phone. So don't worry if you're watching a movie or playing a game or something like that, it's not going to reboot randomly and ruin everything. And while we're here, there's something else that you should be aware of, and I recommend you do. Hit the three dots in the top right corner and add to apps screen. Now you'll have a device care app, which you can drag onto your home screen or any of your home screens for quick access. Okay, now onto something quite advanced, but also pretty damn powerful. So does your Wi-Fi ever slow down, and has it ever become so slow that you've ended up switching your Wi-Fi off and just using your mobile data instead? If this has happened to you, then this new hidden set of tools can help you solve your slow Wi-Fi problems using your Galaxy. To access this, go to settings, go to connections, go to Wi-Fi, hit the three dots in the top right corner and go to intelligent Wi-Fi. Scroll all the way to the bottom where it says intelligent Wi-Fi, and you need to tap this 7 times. Now you've unlocked the Wi-Fi developer options. So if you scroll down a bit more, it's right here. So if you're a Wi-Fi expert, this is going to be a walk in the park for you. But just to keep things simple and give you an easy way to improve your Wi-Fi straight away today, go to nearby Wi-Fi information. Here you'll see a diagram of all the overlapping Wi-Fi networks in your property or wherever you are. The RSSI stands for Received Signal Strength Indication, and the lower the number, the better the signal strength. So if your Wi-Fi appears in this list and is higher than 70, then there's a real problem with your Wi-Fi. You might need to consider moving the location of your router or even upgrading it entirely. But before you do that, try this first. Tap on this Channel Utilization tab. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see this section that says Best Channel Recommendation. Your Galaxy is trying to tell you what you need to do to improve your Wi-Fi speeds. And now that you're armed with this intel, you can go into your modem's Wi-Fi settings and manually choose the suggested Wi-Fi channels that you see here. And if you do this correctly, you'll avoid Wi-Fi network clashes in your house, less friction, more speed. And if you need more help with this, drop a comment below and I'll do my best to help you out. So Android widgets have been around since the beginning of time, and here's a new one. We've seen this before on Google Pixel devices, but now we have it on the Samsung Galaxy devices. It's called Smart Suggestion Widget. If you hold your finger down on an empty space, go to widgets at the bottom here, and right at the top you'll see it there, Smart Suggestion. So what this widget will do is try to predict using AI what app you might like to use next. It can be very handy. It can also be pretty distracting if placed in the wrong spot on the screen, because you might see duplicate apps and things like that. And I find it quite distracting, but this takes me nicely on to the next tip, which is one of my favorite new additions. So like I said before, Android devices have had widgets since the Jurassic Age. And what's funny is Apple have just got them recently, but credit where credit's due. In true Apple fashion, they've added their own spin to things. Apple will allow you to stack widgets on top of other widgets. And just like Pablo Picasso once said, good artists copy and great artists steal. So to do this, hold your finger down on an existing widget and you'll see this option to create a stack. Now you can choose whatever you want. I'm going to choose the Smart Suggestions and drag that on to my Google search bar. So now my phone's home screen looks exactly like it did before, except now I can swipe across and uncover these hidden tools, and we can add a bunch more widgets beneath this if we want to toggle through. So to use this correctly, add your most used widgets on top of each other, and then you can just swipe across on the home screen as opposed to sliding across pages to find it. So this is one of my favorite new features on One UI 5.0. If you go to the Samsung gallery, select a photo, hit the markup tool once again, hit the smiley face once again, and where it says stickers, tap that. So this new feature allows us to create custom stickers of our own. So if you hit this little flower button at the bottom here and hit the plus, now we can choose an image that we want to create the sticker from. So if we go into recents, I'm going to go to this ninja here. We have a few options. We've got snap to shape, select manually, and deselect. And we've also got shape down here. I'm going to show you snap to shape first. So if I draw around the ninja, you can see it intelligently cuts that ninja out. Now if we go to next, we can have a transparent background or we can add a background, hit done. And now we can actually drop that on any image that we like. So you can get real creative with this. And just to show you another way you can use stickers, if you go to sticker again, hit the little flower icon once again, hit the plus. This time let's choose another image, and then we go to shape instead. This time, instead of selecting the magnetic tool, cut my face out using the circle shape or the square or the triangle, whatever, and then hit next. Now that's a sticker, and we can pin that wherever we want on an image. So you can get real creative with this. It's a great way to create memes and stuff like that as well if you want to. So this new edition is another Pablo Picasso special from Samsung, and it's a beautiful thing, and it allows you to automate better and improve your life if you set it up right. So go to your settings and you'll notice there's a new section here called modes and routines. And just to demonstrate the power of this tool, I'm going to set up a new mode. So I'm going to go to add mode, go to custom, I'm going to call it YouTube mode. So when I'm filming a video, and I can customize the icon here, I can even change the color to red, like so. Now we have a bunch of things that we can do with this new mode. So we can set it to turn on automatically when a certain trigger occurs. For example, when I connect to a certain Bluetooth device, a certain time of the day, or a certain place. So if I had a separate YouTube studio away from home, whenever I walked in the door, this mode could turn on automatically. But for my use case scenario here, maybe a good example of what I could do is use the app open. For example, I don't use teleprompters, but some people do for making videos, and they might use a teleprompter app. So they could use that as the trigger for this mode to start. I use Google Docs and Google Keep a lot when I'm filming videos. The problem is I use that when I'm away from the house as well. So you have to think about what kind of app would work well for this. I did download this Parrot app just for example. That is a teleprompter app. So whenever I open this, it will trigger the YouTube mode. And then what I can do is when this mode triggers, is set it to automatically do not disturb. I can configure specific contacts and specific apps to come through if I want. We can restrict app usage, and then we can go to change settings. So we can even get the phone to turn down the volume, turn down the brightness, turn on power saving mode, all of this kind of stuff as well. And then we can even go one step further when the mode starts. So when you tap this, you can configure certain lights to come on, the temperature in the room to change, air conditioning units to turn off, security system to come on, all this kind of stuff when the mode starts. And then when the mode finishes, you can tell it to switch all that stuff back on again or back off, or whatever. So you can fully automate what's going on. Of course, there are presets already here that you can define and use for when you're sleeping, driving, exercising, all this kind of stuff as well. But this is one of the most powerful new additions to One UI 5.0. So these have been my best One UI 5.0 features, and there are more that didn't make the cut. So let me know if you want to see more content like this in the future. And you know something, there's a lot more Samsung Galaxy functionality to unlock if you happen to have a Samsung Galaxy S Pen. And if you want to learn about the full power and potential of Samsung's S Pen, watch the video that's on screen right now, and maybe, just maybe, take a few notes. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you just subscribed, you're now one of the finest subscribers known to man, and I will see you in the next one. Don't be late.